Good afternoon. My name is Ben Weisenberger. I'm an application engineer with Ally PLM Solutions. I want to welcome you to the Ally PLM Lunch Byte series. These sessions are designed to briefly explore capabilities within Solid Edge that you may not be aware of. Today's session is drafting, dimensioning, and annotation tips and tricks. If you have any questions during today's session, please write them down and send us an email. We want these sessions to be informative to you, so please send us any topics that you'd like us to cover. Like I said, we're doing drafting, dimensioning, and annotation today. Some topics we'll cover is creating drawings and also how to create a quick sheet and save that template so that you can access it easily. Add some views to a drawing, such as principal views, auxiliary, some detailed views, section, and broken views. Also creating dimensions, annotations, and a quick sheet metal call-out tip for you. Just some things in SD4, you can retrieve dimensions from your assembly. I'll show you how to do a perspective drawing view as well. You can also add color to the whole table if you'd like. In notes or text boxes, you can have multiple languages if you'd like. For instance, if you send your draft file out to multiple countries, you can have multiple languages in the same text box. There have been some enhancements added to callouts and captions. Broken view, you can curve the break lines now. You can also omit ribs from section views. Some new things with tolerances and limits, you can add those. Here's a table showing you the different formats that you can have. You can have stack tolerances, you can have the upper only or the lower only, or you can have both upper and lower. So there's a lot of new tolerances that you can add now. And I'll show you a little bit of that as we go along. And then with text boxes, you can also stack fractions. You can also add bullets in the text box. With the text box, you could create the text in word processors such as Microsoft Word, and then copy that and paste it into the text box if you want. And then with the feature control frame, you can also attach it to other dimensions, parallel or horizontal, and I'll show you that as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into Solid Edge now, and I just have a ISO draft open right now. To set up your sheet size, you can click down here on the sheet, right click and go Sheet Setup. Here's where you can choose your name, your size. You can change all those settings here. We're going to go with an A1 sheet. You can also do the same option up here with the application button. Go to Sheet Setup. It gives you the same options here. So there's two different ways to get to it. If you go to the application button and go to Solid Edge Options, here we have some dimension styles. You can map those dimensions here. What style you'd like for each dimension. You can also do drawing view styles and edit those styles here as well. In drawing standards, here you can pick your projection angles, how you want your thread to display, your weld symbols, and your hatch and limits and all that. You can edit that here and save that with your template. So what we're going to do here is go into the Drawing View Wizard. We're going to open up a part, and we're going to place a couple views. We're going to place the front view, and then we're going to pick from our drawing view layout the top and right view and hit Finish. And here's our drawing view scale here. And Solid Edge automatically assigns the scale, which makes the view as large as possible and still fit in the drawing sheet. So if we made this a 2:1, it wouldn't fit on the sheet, so it automatically makes it a 1:1. So we'll go ahead and place that. Now we want to add an ISO view. So I'm going to go back to the wizard, hit OK. We're going to hit Next, and here I'm going to create a custom view though. And I'm going to show you, here's You can make a custom view, and also this is where you can show, or this is where you can add perspective to your part. A quick little tip: if you hit Home on your keyboard, it'll take you to an ISO view. We can also do common views here if we want to make this isometric in that direction. Then here we can add perspective to the part, so we can click perspective and we can choose which type of perspective we want. And holding down the scroll wheel on my mouse, I can rotate this around if I want to change how it looks as well. So I can close this then, and then I want to change this to a 1-to-1 and place my view. Now if we want to fill that in, we can click on it and go Shaded Grayscale with Edges. And the gray box around the view here means we need to update our view, so we can go up and hit Update. And now we have an updated view. Next thing we want to do then is place an auxiliary view on this. So what we're going to do is hit Auxiliary. And now we have to pick our fold line. We're going to pick this line down here. And we're going to click to place our auxiliary view. We don't have any room to place it here, so what we're going to do is go down here, right click and say Insert and create a new sheet. It's the same sheet size as our sheet 1. So we go back and we go to our auxiliary view. We can right click and go to Properties. And under the General tab, we can choose which sheet we want this to show up on. We can keep it on sheet 1 or we can move it to sheet 2. So if we hit sheet 2 and hit OK, our view is now moved over here to sheet 2. Next, we're going to create a cutting plane. So we're going to hit cutting plane. We're going to choose what view we want to apply the cutting plane to. So we're going to do our top view. Now we have to sketch our cutting plane. So we're just going to sketch through this part. There's our cutting plane. We're going to close that and place which direction that we want to view it. And then we can do section and create our section view from this. Now before we place it, we want to go up here and go to Model Display Settings. And this will give us some options that we can turn on and off. We could also, if we already placed the part, we can go into Properties and do the same thing. But it's a little quicker to do it before you place the part. What we want to do is turn off our Hidden Edge style. And this just lets you know that will automatically change the defaults for this drawing view. So we'll hit OK. And we'll place that view up here at the top. And again, we want to move this to our sheet 2, so we can right click and go to Properties, go to Display tab, or excuse me, General, and change this to sheet 2 and hit OK. And so now that is over on our sheet 2 as well. If we want to, we can change the crosshatch properties of the section view. So if we go into our properties again and go to Display, we can turn off Derive from Part. And we can choose our own hatching style if we want. Let's say we want to make it steel. And then we'll hit OK, and now we changed our crosshatch style. Next thing I want to do is place a detailed view. So if we go into our detail command, we're going to place a detailed view on our front drawing here. And just create a circle. And again, we want to move this to our second sheet, so we can go Properties again and move to sheet 2. And now we have all of our detailed section auxiliary views over on our sheet 2. Next thing I'm going to do is assembly and create a drawing from that. So we're going to open up a new draft file. We're going to do Drawing View Wizard again. We want to open our carrier assembly. From here, if we had an exploded view, which we do, we can select that and choose to display that. So we're going to go ahead and place this, and there's our exploded view. Next, we're going to insert a new sheet so we can add a new drawing. And what we're going to do is our Drawing View Wizard, open the same part. We're going to hit Next. We're going to do another custom view. Our Home tab, do ISO there. We want to make sure Shaded with VHL overlay is on. It's easier to see with that on. We're going to do a common view. We're going to click the top face up here. And then we want to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to hit Close and Finish and place that view. Next thing we're going to do is do a cutting plane onto this assembly then. So we do cutting plane, we'll choose our view, and we'll draw our line through the middle of the part, close the cutting plane, and click to place our cutting plane. Now we want to create a section view, so we'll click section, click on our cutting plane line there, and we want to go to model display options. And here we can choose to show or hide parts before we place the assembly. All we have to do is click on a part and uncheck show, and that part will be hidden. So we hit OK, and we place our view now. We've hidden that middle part. We can move that view up a little bit so it's not so close to the edge. We can also go back in, go to properties and display again, and we can choose other parts if we want to hide them as well. So if we come in here and uncheck show on another part, we can hide that, and we have to hit update since we have our gray box here again, and now we have another part hidden from our assembly. We'll open up another draft. We're going to bring in another part. I'll show you a broken view creation. We're going to do a top view here and place that view. And to add break lines, you just have to right click and say add break lines. We want to add vertical lines, so we can click to place our two lines. You can also edit the break gap. This will be the distance after you apply the break between these two lines. We're going to leave it at 15. Go ahead and hit finish, and there's our break. We can add more break lines. If we want to add horizontal break lines, we can add those as well. And now we have vertical and horizontal break lines. If we add another sheet and bring in another part, I'll show you the different options for the break lines. So we'll add our part, right click, add break lines, and here we have a couple different options for break lines. We can do straight break, we can do cylindrical, which is curved lines, short break. With short break, linear short break curved, we can change the pitch over here if we wanted to. We can place linear, we can place curved ones, and we can also place long break, which gives us, we can change the number of symbols that all appear. So here we have 3 symbols, so you can see our 3 symbols on each side. So we hit finish, and there we have each of our different breaks. So those are some different break lines that you can apply to your part. Next thing I'm going to show you is broken out section view creation. So we'll open up a new draft file. Drawing view wizard, we're going to open in crankcase here. And we're going to apply front view and then top and right view, and the ISO view as well. We want this to be 2:1 scale, which it is, so we'll place it. And now what we want to do is draw the profile defining the broken out section. So if we do broken out section, we have to choose which view we want to define it on. So we want to do this front view. It brings us into a sketch mode. So we want to sketch the profile. So we'll come down here and draw a rectangle, and we're going to create a cutout of this part of the crankcase. We'll close that section view. Now we have to do a distance value. We can either key it in, or we can go to our view here and choose how far we want to go. We want to go to the center of this circle, so we're going to go there and click, and now we have to choose the view that we want to apply the cutout to, and we want to apply it to our ISO view. And there we have our cutout. We can apply grayscale if we want to show a little depth to it. Now if we want to go back and edit that section cutout, what we can do is right click, go properties. Under our general tab, we can click show broken out section view profile. Hit OK, and now you can see our profile we drew earlier. If we click that, we can modify our depth, and let's say we want to do 80 this time. We can hit accept and update our view, and now our cutout goes all the way through the part. So that's how you can go back and edit your broken out section. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to make a quick sheet and how to save this out into your templates. So if we go into new ISO draft and do the drawing view wizard, we'll place our part here. We're going to do a front view, a top, right, and 2 ISO views and place those. We can move those around a little bit. Let's go to this top view, go to properties, and we can turn hidden edges off. And let's say we want to change the scale of this isometric view, make it a little bigger. And we also want to shade this in and update that. So now, if we go to the application button and go create quick sheet template, it tells you that it removes all the geometry, which is okay. That's how you create a quick sheet, so we'll hit yes. Now we have to pick where we want to save it. Well, we can save it in our templates folder so that we can access it again. So if we go to ST4 templates, let's go into quick sheet and call this Lunch Bytes and hit save. I'll show you where that's saved in just a second, but we can go here, and if we pull in another part into this quick sheet, it'll automatically populate those views with us. It hides or it turns off the hidden edges on this view and creates our 5:1 scale on this view. And where this is saved, if we go up here to new, we go to our quick sheet tab and scroll down a little. There's the Lunchbyte quick sheet we just created. So that's how you can save them into your templates folder and access them again in the future. Next thing I'm going to show you is retrieving dimensions and then also placing some new dimensions. So we're going to open up a part here, or a draft file, excuse me. And here with the retrieve dimensions command, we're going to retrieve the dimensions from this part. So we'll click that and click the view. So there's our dimensions that came over. Now we can delete these if we want. We'll delete that 100 on here. We can move them around. Let's drag this one up. We can move the number over into the middle. So we can edit those dimensions and move them around if we want. Next thing we're going to do is place center marks in onto this. So we go to our center mark command. We want to have projection lines on. And what we're going to do is a center mark by 2 points. And first what we want to do is click our circle here. And we want to place a center mark in the middle of our cutout here. And with the 2 points, what that does is it lines it up with the center of our middle circle. So if we do that with each one of them, you'll see they all line up and point in to the middle of the circle. So that's what we can do with the by 2 points command. If we do horizontal and vertical, it'll place one horizontally and vertically here in the center of the circle. If we do use dimension axis, we can define our dimension axis here by clicking this button. We'll click this line here because we want it to be offset at 45 degrees. And then we just have to click the circle that we want to apply a center mark to. So now it's offset with that dimension axis that we applied. Next thing we're going to do is place an angle dimension on here. We can go from that center mark to our other center mark at 45 degrees. If we stay in the command and don't click out, we can then apply another dimension, which will go from our previous click to the center mark here and apply a 90-degree angle dimension for us. If we go to the distance between and we go to our prefix, we can add characters to our prefix here on our distance between. So let's say we want to add a diameter, even though this is a linear dimension we're going to apply from here to here. This is a linear dimension. We can still add a prefix to make that the diameter dimension. Again, if we do a distance between, we can add a new prefix. Let's do 8. We're going to hit OK, and we're going to apply it to our fin here. And now it shows you that there's 8 of fins, and each of them are 6 millimeters apart, or the width is 6 millimeters. We can add a smart dimension. We're going to add a smart dimension to this hole down here. We go into our prefix, and we can add some things to it. Let's say, let's make the prefix 4 times. And our suffix, let's make that counter bore. We can do a diameter of 14 and a depth of 5 and hit OK. And we can place our smart dimension then with all the prefix and suffix that we just added. Alright, if we come over here and edit this 90 degree that we added, we want to make a tolerance. We can do a dimension type here, and this is where we can choose tolerance or limit from this drop-down menu. So if we do tolerance, we can then type in the tolerance that we want. So we want the upper tolerance to be 0.03, and then we could keep it like this if we just want an upper tolerance, but we can also add the lower tolerance, and if it's the same tolerance, it'll do a plus minus sign and add that dimension for us. If we come in here, we want dual units on this. We can right click, go to properties, go to secondary units, and here we can turn on our dual units. We could also add parentheses to them if we wanted. So we hit OK, and now you can see our dual units displayed there as well. So we're a little crowded here, so we can just right click. We can go to sheet setup. We can change the background, make it a little bigger. We have a little more room now. So if we go back in and we open this part that this is associated to, and here's just another quick tip with SG4, when these parts come in, this option is turned off by default, and that's the edge color. If you turn this on, it makes it a little easier to see. We get this a lot from people. Why does it look kind of funny when they bring it in? It's because of this option, so you can turn that on and off to show the edges a little easier. What we're going to do is make one change to this pattern, or make it from 8 to 6. So if we go back in to our draft, you can see the gray boxes here, and if we go to Tools, Drawing View Tracker, it shows us that these views are on a date. So if we hit Update Views and close, it then comes up with our dimension tracker and shows us the dimensions that have changed. So here we can go find those, or clear them if we want, and just get rid of them. So we're just going to hit Clear and close. Alright, next thing I'm going to show you is some annotations real quick. So open up another file here. And we're going to place some annotation. We're going to place a datum frame. So we go here to our datum frame command. We can type in, let's say we want this to be datum A, and click to place it. Now if you wanted that to have the minus signs next to it, before and after the letter A, you can go here to Styles, go to Modify, go to Annotation, and here's where you can turn the dashes on that datum text. So if you like those on, that's where you can change that setting. We'll apply another one. We'll make this datum B. Click to place that over here. Next, we're going to place a feature control frame. So we can select our feature control frame. And we're going to click, let's see, we want to do the position, add a divider, do the diameter is 0.05, add a material condition, regardless of feature size, add another divider, and then we want to say what datum frame. So we're going to add B, and we'll hit OK. We're going to turn off our leader here, and we want to add it to this dimension. Now here you have the option to do vertical, horizontal, perpendicular, or parallel. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this dimension down first that we added earlier, and place that feature control frame here to the bottom of that dimension. Now if we wanted to, we can go back in, and we could have saved, we could call this a name here and save this so that we can call out this feature control frame in the future if we wanted. So here you could type in a name and save that. Now we're going to add one more feature control frame. We want to make this one parallel to the divider. We're going to do 0.10. Add a divider and want to do this one to datum A. We'll hit OK. We want to turn on our leader line, and we're going to place this over here on this face. We can also do surface texture symbols. Here you can choose symbol types. We're going to do machined. We'll add a value in here and place that. If you want to, you can also do edge conditions. You can do upper and lower tolerances, and we can place that down here. And we can move that over if we don't like how that's sitting there. And now we have our edge condition down there. Next thing we're going to show you is a parts list. So let me open up a draft file. Here we have an assembly. So if we go to our parts list and click on our view, we can have it auto balloon or not if we want to. We'll click to place this, and we'll go in and edit the properties. With our columns, we can edit what's in the table. So we can delete a couple if we want. We can also add down here a new column. We can also change the title and how it displays in the table. So we'll hit OK with that. You can see it changed the quantity, how we typed it in. You can also change the placement if you want it all centered. You can how you want the data to show up. You can change it centered if you want as well. So now the numbers are centered in the cell. And you can also edit the location of where the table shows up. Let's say we want to make this let's make this 20 by 60 here. We'll hit OK, and that moved us over here and offset us from the bottom of the draft sheet. All right, and one other thing with sheet metal, let's go make a new sheet metal part quickly. I'm just going to create a quick sheet metal part and make the flat pattern. We'll extrude this part. We'll pull some tabs off of it here. And we'll save our part. Next, we'll go to Tools and make our flat pattern. So there's our flat pattern. And we have our cut size here of our sheet. If we go to Tools, it's in our variables down here. And let's say we want to call these out on our draft file. Well, if we expose these and we save this, we can then open up a new draft. We can bring in that part. Do the ISO view of it. We can also bring in the flat pattern. So now if we do a call out, and we go down here to our property text, from this drop down we can pick our index reference. And here now, since we exposed those values, we can pick both of them here and add them to our call out. So we hit OK. It's now calling out our cut size. We could also, let's say we want to type this in and say X cut size. So now if we place this, and we created a quick sheet out of this, if we placed a new sheet metal part in here with the flat pattern, it would automatically call out those cut sizes for us. All right, that's all I had. A quick summary: we went over how to make a quick sheet and save the template. I also showed you how to retrieve dimensions and do some custom dimensions with tolerances and dual units. I showed you how to annotate a draft and do surface symbols and some feature control frames, as well as parts list, and then the sheet metal cut size call out. I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Here's my contact information if you have any questions. Replays of our Lunch Bytes can be seen on our website at allyplm.com. Go to our Lunch Bytes tab. For those of you that don't know, we also have an Android app where you can watch Lunch Bytes on your phone. You can find that on our website as well under the Solid Edge Lunch Bytes if you want to download that. Thanks for your attention. I appreciate it. I hope you found this session informative. Please email us any questions you have for future topics. Once again, I appreciate your time. Thanks and have a great day.